Hey, we're back and we're looking at the Full Stack Community Bootcamp created by the good people at Flatiron School. And I thought I'd go ahead and just do a couple more of these to show you a little bit about how this works. So you have this kind of modified Atom IDE on the left-hand side, and we have this lesson on the right-hand side on our web browser. So we're going to go ahead and see what we need to do. So it just wants us to use puts to print welcome to tic-tac-toe, and then use learn to do it. So let's do what it says. We're going to type in learn, and we'll see. Okay, it tells us our example failed because we didn't put welcome tic-tac-toe where it needs to be. So let's go ahead and modify the file it wants us to modify. So we'll live welcome, and we'll put puts welcome to tic-tac-toe, and we'll save it, and let's go ahead and try it again, or learn again. Clear this. Yeah, I'll type learn. I guess at this point it's submitting it, checking to see if it's okay. It runs some kind of test file. The test file was correct, so everything looks good. So we'll go ahead and type learn, submit. You can see here in the IDE that it says passed, or on the web browser it says passed local tests, and now it is submitted, and now it tells you that you completed this lab, which is great. So let's go ahead and try the next one. So, intro to IRB. Describes IRB is why it's useful in programming. Distinguish IRB from your terminal and other files. So I guess here's a video and tells you a little about the interactive Ruby. So we'll take a look at it for a few seconds.
When programming, you want to Ruby will evaluate
IRB, I+1. Get an idea of what you can do. Okay. So it's not a file that you saved your work in. Any coding you do in IRB console is in your terminal. Does not get saved. IRB allows you to execute Ruby in the terminal and you're comfortable using a test, understand Ruby. So I guess we can do what it says here. Open up your terminal, type IRB and hit return. Now now you've done it. So you can see I can do time.now, 55 divided by 5. 9 times 2. Oops. So that's like 9 times 9 times 81. Okay. And you can do your puts. Hello world. Exit. Alright, so that looks all good. So I'm going to click the little done. I'm done reading it. So I'm going to go to the next lesson. Okay, in this lab, you'll be reading the error messages from tests. This lab is designed so that both the running the files and running the test suite via the learn command will show the error message for you to decode. Moving forward, though, you'll be reading error messages mainly through running the test suite. Okay, so reading the 3 different parts of an error message, identify error types. For name error, syntax, type errors, describe test suite, use the learn command to terminal. So this kind of just explains what error messages look like. This is probably pretty important when you're learning Ruby to figure out, what's the problem. So you can see that it tells you the location of the error, the file name, the line of code, describes what the problem is, and either who, type of error types. So we can see when you try and do a mathematical operation on 2 objects of a different type, you'll receive a type error. So I guess I could show you that if I do IRB and I go 1 plus like the string of 1, you get an error because you can't do that, just like it said. Division errors. The test for each lab will be found in the spec directory in that lab. So here's like the previous one we did. We had the spec helper. And it was just doing this checking to make sure that welcome tic-tac-toe had the correct output. For now, all you need to understand is that the code in the spec directory is there to test your code in the program. When you run the learn of the rspec command in your terminal in the directory of the lab you're working on, that runs the code in the spec file and tests your program. The output that appears in your terminal is the result of running those tests. Instructions: stop. If you haven't watched the above video, you're making life much harder for yourself. Watch the video lecture above before attempting this lab. Did you watch it? Well, we didn't watch it, but let's see if we can do it. Okay, great. Let's proceed to the point of the lab, to getting comfortable reading error messages and fixing simple programs. Open the lab. So we're going to click open. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, I think we just click open here. And it's pulling the lab. Okay, it's been forked. Run learn to the root of the lab. So we're going to run learn. Okay, we can see we have all these errors. Not having errors, bring all green errors, name error. Not having errors, syntax error, wrong type, divide by 0. So it says you got to read the errors. What does expected or no exception or got name error undefined? How can we fix it? Each error prints out a stack trace, which points to where the code failed and attempts to follow it up in the stack. That is through the bits of code that ran leading up to the failure. You can use these stack traces to pinpoint which lines of code need your attention. These stack traces also point you to which lines you should run to get better sense of the errors, which leads to step 3. Run each of the files in the lab directory using the Ruby command. From a lab directory, try Ruby. So let's do what they say. Ruby lib a division by 0 error.rb. So, yep, gives us an error that on line 3 it wasn't able to do the divide by 0. So you have to figure out where Ruby is trying to divide by 0 and change the code so that the division operation is valid, something other than 0. And so it wants us to go through all the code and fix it. So let's take a look. So we have these 4 files. So let's look at the first one. So 42 divided by 0. That's probably not going to work. How about divided by 6? A name error. So in the second problem, I guess it just tells you what to do above it. I don't know. We can syntax error, since we didn't really have anything here. We'll put 10 in here actually. 10. And a type error. So obviously we can't do that. So we'll put 20. Alright, so we fixed everything. Let's type learn and see what happens. Alright, so everything passes, so now we can submit it. Learn, submit. Submitting our lesson to GitHub. All right, looks like it worked. So what is our next lesson? So these are all pretty easy. Define a variable, create and reassign a variable, define a passing value as it relates to the variable. So basically this is just basic variable assignment. You could see the name of the variable, what you're trying to do, and then it does like a sum. And then you can use variables to store strings. And you can use the syntax of hash current president simply injects the value of the variable current president into the string. This is called interpolation, and we'll cover it later. And then it kind of tells you the variable, what type of variables we have. and it prefers snake case, which is that underscore. So if you have something that's 2 words, then you'd want to put an underscore underneath instead of camel case. And variables should start with the lowercase. And if it starts with the uppercase, it's known as a constant. It has different behavior. So don't put in one or end or apostrophes in your variable names. And variables have a value. Variables have a type. Variable type is type of value it holds. Ruby is what is known as dynamically typed, so we don't have to explicitly put the type in there, of course. So we have equal operators, and then you can also reassign variables, and then kind of gives you a few examples of different ways to use variables. Oh, it even talks a little bit about pass by value. We have seen that variables itself, the location where information is stored, is distinct from the value stored at the location. And let's try something to do this. So they do sound equals speak, sound equals squeak, then you do sound squeak, sound uppercase squeak. Okay, the moment of suspense has arrived. Now if we type sound again, what do you think the value will be? And it's still the lowercase squeak. And that's because it's only by value, it says. Alright, so we've read it. Let's take a look here. So here is our next objective, where we need to do a variable assignment lab. Let's see if we can. You will assign a local variable named greeting as equal to hello world. You should first make sure the test suite is run by you learn. Upon the first test suite, you should see failures. Solve these test failures. Create a local variable greeting in the variable.rb file. Set greeting equal to the string hello world. Run learn. All right, let's do this last one. And it's getting it for us right now. We're going to type in learn like it says. And it'll run our test cases. And of course, they fail. Variable RB is to find a local variable called greeting and set to equal hello world. But greeting is not defined. So it wants us to go into the variable.rb, this file here, and create something called greeting and equal it to hello world. We'll save it. And we'll try to run our test cases again by typing in learn. All right, one example, 0 failures. So everything passed, and now I can type in learn, submit. Learn, submit. All right, submitting the lesson. Okay, we're good to go. We can go to the next lesson. All right, that's about it for now. If I have some more time, I'll go ahead and do some more of these in the future, but I just wanted to show you a little bit about Ruby and how to use the Full Stack Community Bootcamp. Thanks. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button. Take care.